The painting The Last Day of Pompeii was painted in Italy, where in 1822 year. The artist went on a trip from the Imperial Academy of Arts for 4 years, but lived there for 13 years. Bryullov first visited the site of the excavations of Pompeii in 1827 year. Going to the ruins, he had no idea that this trip would be fateful for him. The feelings that Bryullov experienced at the excavations did not leave him. And so the idea of a painting on a historical theme was born. Let's take a closer look at the canvas and analyze it in more detail. Let's start with the fact that in this work, Bryullov shows himself not as a traditional classicist, but as an artist of a romantic direction. So, the historical plot of this picture is dedicated not to one hero, but to the tragedy of an entire nation. And as a plot, he chose not an idealized image or idea, but a real historical fact. In the left part of the painting, several people are depicted in the background on the steps of a large building of the Tomb of the Scores. A woman looks directly at the viewer. Horror is red in her eyes. The portrait of this woman was painted by the artist with his beloved Countess Yulia Samoylova, with whom the artist was connected by a free, but long and strong relationship. And behind her, the artist himself with a box of paints on his head. This is a self-portrait of Bryullov, experiencing a tragedy together with his characters. Closer to the viewer is a married couple with children who are trying to escape from the lava. And in the foreground a woman is hugging her daughters. Next to her is a Christian priest who has already entrusted his fate to God and is therefore very calm. In the depths of the picture, we see a pagan Roman priest who is trying to escape by carrying away ritual valuables. Here Bryullov hints at the attack of the ancient pagan world of the Romans and the onset of the Christian era. In the first part of the picture, a rider on a horse is depicted in the background, which reared up. And closer to the viewer, the groom, overcome with horror, who is trying to hold his bride, who has lost consciousness, in his arms. And in this scene, we manage to understand how much love is stronger than the fear of death. In the foreground, 2 sons are carrying their old father in their arms, and next to him is a young man begging his mother to get up and run from this all-consuming element. By the way, this young man is none other than Pliny the Younger, who really escaped and left his memories of the tragedy. There is no main character in this picture, but there are central ones. A curly-haired child near the prostrate body of his deceased mother in a yellow tunic, he is a symbol of the fall of the old world and the birth of a new one. This is the juxtaposition of life and death in the best traditions of Romanticism. In this picture, Bryullov also showed himself as an innovator, using 2 light sources, hot red light in the background, conveying the feeling of impending lava, and cold greenish blue in the foreground, adding additional drama to the plot. The plot of the painting on the Last Day of Pompeii is taken from ancient history. The eruption of Mount Vesuvius and the collapse of the city of Pompeii. With theatrical efficiency of poses and gestures, realistic facial expressions, developing draperies of clothes. The painter showed all the drama of the scene. However, despite the impending death, the heroes, even in suffering, do not lose their beauty, greatness of spirit, and their humanity. This was the philosophy and aesthetics of Romanticism. Karl Bryullov worked on the canvas for 6 years, from 1827 year to 1833. For the first time, the painting was presented to the public in 1833 year at an exhibition in Milan, and immediately made a splash. Laudatory reviews were written about the picture in the press, and Bryullov was greeted with applause on the streets. In 1834 year, The Last Day of Pompeii was presented at the Paris Salon. They also appreciated the work, handing Bryullov a gold medal of the French Academy of Arts. The canvas made a sensation all over Europe and was eagerly awaited in Russia. In the same year, it was sent to St. Petersburg. Later, the customer and owner of the painting, Anatoly Demidov, presented it to the emperor. And Nicholas I placed it in the Hermitage, where it was for 60 years. And in 1897 year, it was transferred to the Russian Museum. Now we can also see this masterpiece in the Russian Museum of St. Petersburg. After the completion of this canvas, the artist gained European fame. Moving to Italy at the end of his life, he finally settled there and became an honorary member of the Academy of Arts. That's how one masterpiece, so strong and brilliant, glorified Bryullov all over the world, and left a mark on the history of painting for centuries.